So in order to understand the effects of mental illness and gun violence, we should probably first look at the difference between mental illness and the moral principle of good versus evil. It's not that easy to distinguish because it's, at least in my personal belief, people who are evil, or at least do evil continuously, are going to develop mental illness or mental health problems. Take, for example, someone who eats a lot of fast food or goes to McDonald's frequently. They're going to end up with obesity, diabetes, etc. Just like someone who does evil, it's going to end up in mental health problems because they're not living a life according to the Creator, which is God. I think one way that's why mankind has like a conscience or a soul, because it helps to let them know what they're doing, if it's right or wrong. Take, for example, like a dog who does something bad, like poos on the carpet, and you know they know they're not supposed to, because if you confront them about it, they're gonna have like this guilty look on their face, like that puppy dog, like I'm sorry, I'm innocent thing. So just like the human, when they do something wrong, when they do something evil, they're gonna have this sort of guilt or this sort of conscious rebuking them. And I think enough of that is or repeated events of that is going to lead to mental health problems. Again, that's my personal take on it, and it's not something I will tell my patients in the office setting, but it's just, I'm using this platform to explain it to people because it seems to fit. However, generally speaking, what mental illness is when someone's thoughts, emotions, or behaviors impact their daily life, where it affects them negatively in their work, in their school, or their relationships with others. When people are really mentally ill, they're not able to have the cognitive ability to carry out the plans to carry mass shootings. However, that's when people are seriously ill. When it's a little bit more subtle, they can still have their cognitive ability intact and can in fact carry out those plans. There are certain diseases that are more commonly associated with violence than others, some of them including just emotional instability, especially after like a breakup or some sort of significant or recent stress in their life. Then also people who are paranoid or feel like people are persecuting them, even if it's just part of their psychosis or part of their misinterpretation of reality. Those types of people as well are more likely to be violent towards others. So this issue about limiting people to have weapons, at least in the United States, oftentimes is not that practical for a few reasons. One, because people can get weapons almost anywhere, either legally or illegally. And also, people can get mental illness almost at any time in their life. You don't have to limit them to, so for example, they may get guns purchased several years prior and then develop a mental illness later, and they still may have access to those weapons. But actually what would be really important is to have certain safety measures on those weapons so that they don't use them impulsively or they don't use them in the heat of the moment. For instance, they could have some safety clips on there, or they could be kept in a lock or a safe place, or if there are family members that don't really use the weapons, they could store them in a safe place for the person, just so they don't have easy access to the weapon and don't act too much on their impulses. Look, this is a big issue. I honestly don't know why people are allowed to have automatic rifles or weapons. It seems like a lot of time people are misusing it. I know there's hunters and self-protection, things like that, but there's got to be some other system that is safer for the general society.